Welcome, everyone. My name is David Stevens from Trotec Laser, and today we have a very special webinar we want to put on for you. Today is a kind of a webinar that is, in these trying times, something that we wanted to put on to really showcase what laser systems can do for you folks out there that are looking for different options, capabilities, and maybe features that you can do with your machine to kind of improve the times, if you will. So this is basically how to meet new market needs during times that you may not be able to make trophies at the moment. There are a lot of different options out there right now for you. And so we're going to go through and do a basic application course that is going to show you some exciting applications of lots of things out there that laser owners can do during the pandemic of the coronavirus. And they're really needed right now to produce some like the personal protective equipment. So this seminar is going to go through and really showcase some of this. And so let's get moving on it. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them during the event. And then we will answer them at the end of the course. It should be about 30-45 minutes, and then we can answer the questions at the end of the course. And so if you have a question during the event, make sure to ask it just by clicking the button on your side of your screen there, ask the question, and then we'll go through one at a time afterwards. So let's go ahead and dive into it here now and showcase exactly what this new seminar is about. So the COVID-19 and laser technology. This pandemic has created uncertainty in every aspect of our day-to-day lives. Not one person or business can say they have not felt the impact of this epidemic. Because of this, lasers provide a business with wide range processing capabilities, businesses with laser equipment are in a unique position to help meet new demands for certain goods and services on a local level. This seminar will cover some of the ways you can help reduce shortages of some of these much needed items in your communities, and also keep your businesses open and your employees working, which is our ultimate goal. So ultimately in this seminar is just a tip of the iceberg. We want to do as much as we can for laser owners during the time of need. And Trotec has been dedicated to continually offer solutions for not only business partners, but communities in a whole. So with full collaboration and forward thinking, we can make a difference one step at a time. This seminar is full of QR codes. If you're not familiar with QR codes, they allow you to go to a link or a website or a video very, very quickly. If you're not familiar how to use them, all you need to do is turn your camera app on. Just open your camera like you're going to take a photo, and instead of taking a photo of something, point it at the barcode, and then your phone will automatically recognize that location and allow you to go to that video, that link, that location very quickly and easily. The webinar is also being recorded so that you can review this at a later date. So if you want to go to one of these links and scan it, you don't have to have your phone ready at hand to go to these locations during the webinar. You can quickly and access this information at a later date, and then you can go to these links as needed, when needed. We are also a very social company. Follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. We post most of these types of seminars, techniques, helps, videos on our channels. Mostly is to improve your processing, your capabilities, jobs, new techniques, new products, all of the above. So follow us on our social channels if you want to be kept up with what's new, what's different, what's changing in the industry. The outline of what we're going to cover today is we're going to cover some of the more common things that have been hit in the industry lately on how to use your laser system, on how to create masks, ear guards, signage, face shields, touchless hooks and door openers. We're going to show you some different possibilities. We have a great video that our marketing team has put together on some customer spotlights of what people are already doing. And so because of that, you can really get an idea of what people are already doing and maybe something you can do yourself. And then in addition to that, I'm going to have a lot of links and resources on how to get yourself out there, where to look to find some of these capabilities, these needs, and resources for you. And then lastly, we're going to follow up with some Q&A. I have another special guest that's going to join me for the Q&A, and at that time, we will answer any and all your questions that we can during this event. To start out here, one of the most common things is laser masks or masks in general. It is suggested that everyone wear masks during this time. If everybody does, whether you're infected or not, it can make a dramatic influence. And because of this and the shortage there is online in the purchasing of the masks, everyone is looking for these. And this provides not only a need, but an opportunity for laser owners. Because lasers have the ability to cut this fabric out and cut the fabric straps and everything out with unbelievable ease and speed, you combine that with a sewing machine, and you'll now have the ability to mass produce these type of products that are in dire need right now. Products and masks like this are typically used for everybody and anybody that needs them, so that we can protect and kind of hold off the masks and the really high-end masks for the medical environments right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a video that I produced. It is also located on our YouTube channel, but I'm going to go through and you can watch this video. And again, if you have any questions towards the end, we will answer any of those questions. So
at Trotec, we know how hard this pandemic is hitting on a global scale. So many of us want to do what we can to help. We are providing this file of a protective mask. Scan this QR code and download these laser-ready files. And I will walk you through the process on how to create this file with your laser system and sewing machine. The file has been created in 3 different sizes, and here are some QR codes on locations of where to buy standard cotton fabric. To start, place a sheet of cotton fabric onto the vector grid of your laser system, and then go ahead and cut out the file. You can do one, or you can do an array of samples, as you see here. Once the file has completed, go ahead and open the laser and remove the excess material, placing another sheet of material into the laser and cutting that out. It is recommended that 2 separate colors are used for the process of these masks, so that it can be identified which side is being used towards the face and which side is face out. For in-depth sewing instructions, here is a written tutorial and a video tutorial that you can scan and watch in depth on how to do this process. A basic overview of sewing these together include taking each of the 2 colors, pinning them together, taking some type of cording, any type of cording, and then sewing the outside of each one of the colors together, as you see here. Each color is sewed separately so that it can then be placed together and fit together so that there's an inside and an outside of the mask. Once you have fit the 2 colors together, go ahead and place the cording in, pin those cords together, then go ahead and sew each of the sides of the mask. Please note that any cotton fabric will work to create these masks. Even old cotton shirts and sheets can work in a pinch. If we make our own masks, it will help ease the shortage to hospitals. We need to reserve the supply of N95 and medical grade masks for those on the front line. But we can do our part to make them for everyone else. It takes each one of us to make a difference in this pandemic, and supporting our local neighbors and communities any way we can will make an impact. If you have any questions or comments about this tutorial, please put your comments in the section below or contact us at troteclaser.com.
Okay, that was the video on how to create the masks. A lot of sewing involved on that one, and so I do have some resources here that were also included in the video. One, where to get your cording and the fabric. Joanne Fabric, fabric.com. Realistically, it doesn't matter. Most people are ordering it online right now, but typical cotton fabric is what's been used. Also, I don't go into depth into the sewing aspect of this due to the fact that I am not a good sewing person, and actually that was my wife in the video that actually did this for me. But I do have a resources where we actually got the file for this mask, which was designed to be cut out with scissors, and that is freesewing.com. And so you can scan this center QR code, and you can download a PDF, a step-by-step on how to sew it. So if you've got an old sewing machine and you want to make a few of these, or if you have the ability to do high volume, you can do that. If you want a video of the process, the Justy Cook is another guy that actually has promoted a video of walking through the process of actually sewing it. So I defer to the experts. I'm the laser guy. They're the sewing people. So this will give you the resources to be able to go and find that if you're not familiar with doing it now. From the laser standpoint, here's some parameters for cutting fabric on a Speedy 400 and a Speedy 300 360. These are just some basic settings because there's not really a cotton setting in our materials database. So these are proposed settings on an 80 and 120 watt for a Speedy 300 360, which is the machines that I used in this video. If you need help or have questions, please let us know if you have a different model for doing these processes. But ultimately, all it is basically a cutting process. You're at full power, and then about you go as fast as you can cut through the material and process that material. So just if you do have questions on the settings, I do suggest a cutting grid so that you can kind of hold that fabric flat while you're cutting the individual pieces for processing this material. A next one that's very, very popular lately, and most of these requests have come from a local hospital. I've actually been working with the head of the COVID-19 Arizona division that runs the ER department, and they've been giving me the ideas. Yes, there's a lot online as well, but I'm talking directly to the medical professionals. And one thing that they have really requested a lot of lately, I have made right in my lab 1,500 or more of these already just to give our local hospitals, but they are the ear guards. These are very important because these poor medical professionals out there are in desperate need for it, because typical masks pull on the backside of the ear and it's very painful, especially when they have to wear them day in and day out. So a very simple plastic component like this can make the difference. It literally hooks and pulls that pressure off the ear. It can be laser cut in the matter of seconds. There's a lot of companies out there doing 3D printers out, but that takes sometimes 10-15 minutes to make one. I've seen some of the faster ones do it in 5 or 6 minutes, but a laser system can cut these out. I use like the Trotec or Romark plastics. It's also, you can use acrylics and stuff like that. Here is a location for these type of files on a location to download the laser ready files. And when I give you the laser ready files, I typically have them in 3 formats: a CorelDRAW X4, an early version, so if you don't have a new version of Corel, you can download it; a PDF, which is a vector format and can be imported into Corel or Illustrator, plus an Adobe Illustrator format. So when you scan this QR code for the files, or any of my QR code files, it will take you to a Dropbox link where you're going to have all the files, and you can just download those, pull them on, and pull them onto your desktop or email them to yourself. And then also to order the materials on the right side here. Ordering the materials, where do I get it? Materials are abundant. There's lots of different choices out there. This is a great one for it. You don't have to necessarily use this plastic. I've done it with thinner acrylic. I've done it with sheets of ABS plastic, some polystyrene plastic, whatever you have. It can't be really paper. They're not durable enough. It's kind of got to be a flexible plastic to work the best. But there are desperate needs for these type of application or products out there. People are willing to pay for them. If you want to donate them, that's entirely up to you. Here's the parameters and settings that I used for the ear guards. Again, you have the access to come back to this video at any time. You'll have access to it with the link that you were provided when you signed up. But you can go through and actually use the presets. A Trotec plastic preset is what I used for these. And then I've also included the actual dimensional or power settings that I use to cut them. But ultimately, you can just use the Trotec plastics for your Trotec like plastics, or your Romarks, or your IPI plastic, or any other brand as well. The settings, of course, are here also for a Speedy 300, as well as a 360 80 watt, as well as a Speedy 400 120 watt. The next request we've got a huge influx for is signage. There's companies and people, everybody wanting some type of signage to indicate their building hours have changed, their office is closed, everything from washing hands. Grocery stores have been a huge request for it by wanting the signage for directions and keeping distance, the social distancing signs. I've seen a lot of stores where there's actually little spots on the floor of where to stand to keep your distance. Somebody is providing these type of items, and having a laser is going to give you that durable plastic material that can be walked on. It's not printed, and it's going to last, and it's going to be durable. So these are a few different examples and ideas that we have come up with. And we can provide the files for. Another one that's been interesting is the one-way directions in supermarkets. So they're converting the aisles to one direction. This way people go in the same direction and stay distance-wise. Signage is key to kind of keep these keep these in your mind and what people need to do. Open signs, variations. There's a lot of requirements out there for certain numbers. You can only have a certain amount of number in a store. And a lot of these signs are handwritten. Based on what we're seeing, this is going to be for a long haul, especially the distancing aspect. So these type of signs are becoming more and more apparent and are a good solution for laser companies. Here are some files for you, step-by-step tutorials we already have on our website that'll walk you through step-by-step on how to create them, what material. The center one here is also graphic design files. If you want to download the individual files, the step-by-step tutorial also includes some of the graphic design files, but not all. And then, of course, how to order the materials if you don't already have something that's going to work for this. So just scan the appropriate QR code, and you'll be taken to the correct link based on whatever you want to do here. Settings-wise for the Trotec plastic, again, here's all your parameters for a Speedy 300 and a 360 for an 80-watt laser machine for both cutting and engraving. I did not include the 400 here because I ran all these on an 80-watt machine. But usually just the standard preset Trotec plastic preset is all you would need to know to process these type of materials. This is a very, very popular one. The personal protective shields have been ordered by anybody and everybody that can make them. So if you can produce these in any type of volume, there are, there's 100 customers for every one face shield. These are highly needed for not only hospitals, frontline workers, nursing homes, because there's a massive shortage. I'm seeing on the news of doctors placing salad containers over their face, and they're using plastic bags. And in my opinion, that's unacceptable. We, as laser owners and operators, have the ability to very quickly and easily produce this type of product. And so I'm going to show you a video now of this process, step by step on how to do that. And of course, we'll give you the files, the designs, the instructions on how to do this.
At Trotec, we know how hard this pandemic is hitting on a global scale. So many of us want to do what we can to help. So we have created this file of a face shield that you can scan and download, and I will walk you through the process on how to create this with your laser system. After you've downloaded the file, take a 1/4 inch or 6 millimeter piece of acrylic, place it in your laser system, and then laser cut the file. We have reached out to local medical providers and frontline workers to see what laser owners can do to help fight against COVID-19. And their main request was needed protective equipment like face shields to help treat patients and stay safe. Once you have the acrylic pieces cut out, go ahead and assemble them together like such, and then glue the final piece together shown here. Once it's finished and glued together, it should look like this. Now for the front clear polyester PET film or for the face shield, if you don't have any of the film, scan this QR code to be directed to a site to order it. Now take a piece of PET or polyester film plastic, place it onto your vector grid, select the face mask portion of the file, and go ahead and cut it out with your laser system. Remove the excess film. Now remove the finished face mask from the vector grid. You now have the finished face mask, PET film, as well as the acrylic part that holds it together. To assemble it, it's designed to snap into the holes that are placed into the mylar film and then onto the mask itself. And a simple rubber band can be used to hold it onto the head. Trotec Laser will be providing video tutorials during this time that will train laser owners to create products and support the fight against this virus. It takes each one of us to make a difference in this pandemic, and supporting our local neighbors and communities any way we can will make an impact. Please submit your ideas, stories, and files if you think it will help. We are all in this together, and together we can make a difference, one step at a time. If you have any questions regarding this tutorial, please put your comments in the section below or contact us on troteclaser.com.
Okay, here's some more resources towards that video tutorial that's already located online, as well as the graphic design files. Again, they're also into the videos, as well as the ability to order materials. You saw there the health professionals in there. Those were actually the masks and shields that I was able to produce for them with my limited resources of materials. But that gave us the original idea to start producing videos so that everyone out there with lasers that can contribute in this case can also help. And each one of us, even if we do a few dozen, can make a big difference in this scenario. So here are also the power settings that I ran it again. Parameters and everything are not included in the video, so this is a good slide if you want to utilize the 1/4-inch acrylic as well as the PET Mylar film. I do like the as thin as material film of 0.007 PET film, but you can go with a little bit of thicker material. Trotec does sell film that actually has adhesive on or a protective film on both sides, and that link will actually take you to one of our sites to do that. So it's actually protected on both sides, so when it's peeled off, it's perfectly optically clear. Again, any questions on these type of files, and if you want to modify them, if you want to make them work for you, for your material, your machine, feel free. I'll give you some resources and links on the legalities and liabilities and stuff like that at the end of this seminar. The next one is another very popular one I'm seeing everywhere, and these are the touchless hooks and the door openers. Very quick and inexpensive to make with the laser system. I know of customers that are selling these for $3 to $5 a piece, and where you've got about a nickel worth of time and money into actually making, especially the smaller keychain ones. So it could be very lucrative, especially when you can't make a lot of the products and that you're custom making right now. Put them onto your website, post them anywhere. This is a great product the consumers are buying just to stay away from the touch surfaces during these difficult times. So I'm going to go through and also show you a small video on this to show you how this process is done.
At Trotec, we know that so many want to know what they can do to help slow the progression of COVID-19. So we have created another file and video instructions for 2 types of laser cut door openers to help reduce the spread of this virus. Just open up the camera app on your mobile phone and point that camera to this QR code to be taken to the location to download these laser-ready files, or select the link in the comment section below. If you don't already have the material, here is another QR code that you can scan the same way to be directed to a location to order materials. The first file we're going to laser engrave and cut is this file. To start, place a 1/4-inch or 6mm piece of acrylic into your laser system and then run the file using the presets for 6mm acrylic for cutting and engraving. Once the file has been completed, go ahead and wipe any excess dust and debris off the surface of the acrylic and then remove from the laser system. It's that simple to make a very, very effective laser cut door opener. This simple device is outstanding in the fact that it allows you to be touchless in all kinds of scenarios, from doors to switches to elevator buttons. You can also place a handstring, strap, or in this case, a retractable clip-on badge holder that is typically used for ID card holders. This allows for quick access when needed. If this file is not convenient or too large to be used, here is another more compact version of the same type of file. Again, scan this QR code for the design file and then open up the much smaller keyring style of hook, and then go ahead and cut it on your laser system the same way as we did before. This is a much smaller, compact version of a touchless hook that gives you the convenience of putting it on a keychain so that it's always with you when needed. Once the finished file is cut out, remove it from the laser system for the finished result. Now you can add this smaller touchless hook to your keyring. This smaller keyring version is convenient because keys are always with you when you're out. No matter which version works for you, these touchless hooks also work great for other things besides opening and closing doors. They can be used for turning lights off and on, opening and shutting drawers, adjusting thermostats, turning water off and on, selecting elevator buttons, basically any public surface that may have been touched during these uncertain times. It takes each one of us to make a difference in this pandemic, and supporting our local neighbors and communities any way we can will make an impact. If you have any questions about this video, please leave them in the comment section below or see our website at troteclaser.com.
Okay, here is again, the same type of tutorial links that were in the video, but a little quicker and easier to have access to. The tutorial video that we just watched, as well as the graphic design files, and then another link to order materials if you don't already have acrylic or some type of material. I really like the touchless hooks because they are something that everyone is looking for. There's a mass shortage of them. It is extremely lucrative possible application that you can run with your laser. It makes you a business that is kind of a necessary or a needed business, so you can stay open when you're making these type of products. And so that is another advantage of actually processing some of these types of applications and materials, whether you're donating them or whether you're selling them to kind of fill the difference in during these times. Here's the parameters for the 1/4 inch and the 1/8 inch acrylic. The smaller touchless hook can be processed with the 1/8 inch or 3mm acrylic. I personally like the 1/4 inch, but it's a little more meaty in the hand. But the bigger touchless hook that I have didn't really work with this thinner acrylic. So I do like the thicker acrylic for that. Where the smaller one, if you only have 1/8 inch, also works. I tried to break it. It was not, the design is actually such that I couldn't get it to break, twisting it, flexing it. So it worked. It's just not as comfortable in your hand. So no matter what material you have on hand, or if you can get, or if you can order, these are the different parameters for an 80-watt system to process these materials. There are a lot of other possibilities out there. I don't have videos for all those, but we're getting feedback from lots of companies asking, can we do this? Intubation boxes is another one that's been asked by the hospitals, because when their people are being intubated, they have to put these acrylic boxes over them so that when the person doesn't spit up or anything on it. So that's been a nice one that can be quickly and easily laser cut and assembled together. If you have a large format laser, a couple other possibilities that have been exploding right now is the protective shields in stores that they're putting up everywhere. Again, a shortage of these, as well as like rideshare safety partitions. These are basically a kit that can be put into any vehicle and then be adjusted so that the rideshare have that safety barrier as well. So people are investing in this type of stuff. They need it right now. We don't know when this is going to end. And so there are different opportunities here that you can look for that is going to hopefully supplement some of those products that you may not be able to do during these times. And now I do also have, this is the next portion, is a video of kind of we've taken a survey of some of our customers that are already doing this. And these are customers that have taken the forefront and really jumped forward and said, I can do this. I have a laser. I'd rather do this than sitting at home. So I'm going to show you this very inspirational video and hopefully encourage you to maybe do something yourself or do something that's similar.
My name is Philip Prescott. I do custom fabrication.
So we're a grand format printer, and we also do event fabrication.
My name is Jeremy Carlson. I run Avant-Garde Design down here in Palm City, Florida.
Yeah, so I'm Jeremy Katz from JK Automotive Designs. We build custom interiors for vehicles from scratch.
So right now we prototype the face shield, and we are in full-blown production with this at this point. This is it here. So we have clear PETG, has a pre-masked front and back, and the polystyrene is a separate piece, and what holds it together is the elastic, so it cinches both pieces together.
And they said, can you make intubation boxes? Because they have none. And I asked for a diagram, and they sent it to me. We designed one, and we added interlocking corners and edges on it, so when the box folds up, it just interlocks together.
These are the ones that we're making. It basically has a 3D printed chin piece at the bottom. This clear section is another, it's just detachable. So you can pop these off pretty easily.
The laser allows us to cut teeth into the shields, and you can actually pull this, and then it holds it tight, it won't come loose.
With the Trotec, it allowed me to prototype a lot of different options.
They're fairly easy to manufacture, but places like New York and DC, Florida, Chicago, are having a lot of trouble keeping those in stock, because it used to be the case that you use one and you throw it away. And then it got to the point where, you'd have one per day, and then you'd have one per week. And now, we're getting reports that some hospitals, they have one per department and they have to share. And some hospitals have nothing except trash bags.
The one the state's making up in Massachusetts, where Germany is, they're disposable. You put them on, you take them off and throw them away. Every patient you see. These, you can use a UV light on. The foam's UV stable, the plastic's UV stable, and so is the elastic. And so you can take a UV light to it and disinfect it, or you can spray it down with disinfectant and clean them and go see the next patient right away.
I'm not going to, basically sit here and wait. Let's try to figure out something we could do to help with COVID-19. Also, to get my guys back in here and keep them employed, and we didn't have to worry about putting them on employment.
By doing the mask, it made us essential. And so I was able to keep my business open. So I was able to keep paying my employees and bringing them to work. Not only were we helping the communities, but we were able to stay at work for my employees and their families as well.
When we developed this, and I looked at it, I said, is this something, if my son or daughter was working as a first responder, is this something I'd feel comfortable with them wearing? And 100% it is.
It's really scary to think, your friends and family could be the people out there. So making something that can help as many people as possible. That's really easy for me while I'm stuck at home and I have this, giant machine in my garage and just pump these out, it's a no-brainer. It's like, well, you gotta, you can't not do that. Otherwise, you could be, helping a lot of people.
We literally got the laser cutter, I think 4 weeks ago. And for 2 weeks, this thing has been running like nonstop around the clock.
On a good day, I can get a few thousand.
And I'm guessing our group, we've probably done 25 or 30,000 masks or shields in the last 2 weeks.
We've managed to make nationwide, probably by now, I would say at least 40, 50,000.
So we got the laser cutter just to start doing the pin mount letters. And literally I did 2 jobs on it. And I go, oh my God, the work's gone. So after that, then we started making these face shields, and the thing, I don't know how many hours we put on it, 10 hours times the 2 weeks. We had weekends and everything else on it. And it hasn't failed us once, not a problem, no issues with it. It just runs nonstop.
So I can cut tons of stuff really quickly. That's just the great part about the laser in general. Trotecs are they're workhorses. They don't stop. They're effective. They're big and they're fast.
This was a no-brainer, having the Trotec there and being able to put this prototype together. And it's also the entire maker community, and it could be a trophy shop. It could be a guy that's doing letters, somebody with a CNC router.
We shared the file with the entire industry online, including the car audio electronics industry and the upholstery industry, and pretty much anything automotive related that does fabrication or builds cars or any of that. And we wrote, the headline was "Attention Jobs with a Laser Machine. Here's a file that you can use to help make PPE for hospitals locally."
So what I did is I made the template for the face shield. I made open source. I put it on forums. I put it wherever I could. Anybody that was willing to listen, the information was in front of them. And I had a lot of requests. So I've been sending this template out, and it's been going literally like across the world.
The group that we're in is about 1,500 or 1,600 strong right now, and so most of those are 3D printing people.
Trying to form like an alliance between all the shops as opposed to having competitors and trying to keep secrets. This is something, it almost reminds me of, like documentaries you see about World War II, where Maytag, they used to make washing machines for clothes, then they converted over and are making parts for airplanes. So it's almost like we have to retool, and to do that, the information has to be there. So, Trotec makes it so easy to share information. Hey, these are the settings, plug them in there, buy this film, and, go to it and just, start being a hero.
Jeremy's shop and my shop and everybody else around the country for sure has the skill sets, and most of them have the tooling to make a little difference until somebody like Apple and Nike and Ford and whoever else is doing it, until they can step up and get it into the hospitals at large amounts.
Hey, run downstairs and let's try to see if we can figure this out has turned into a phenomenon, And then, we're we're not doing 1 million masks like Apple is, or we're not doing 200 million masks like Nike is, but we're doing our part for sure. We feel that we've stepped up and done our part. We're the fire extinguisher until the fire truck shows up.
Our website is jkautomotivedesigns.com.
You can check us on Facebook and Instagram, and then our website is avant-guarddesign.com.
I share the template. If anybody needs a template, you can email me at rocco@vinylbomb.com.
3dforcovid.com is our website. If you need PPE gear, if you're a hospital that needs it, there's a form there that you can fill out. If there's a, I can make stuff button, and there's also a donate button.
Okay, wow. I love that video. And then I love the fact that we're the fire extinguisher until the fire department gets here. Very inspirational. That's what people are out there doing. Forward thinkers like that are the fuel that lasers can do. We have the ability to supplement all these different things. And so our goal is to kind of help you folks out there consolidate these ideas. If you come across and feel anything that will do to help, send them to us. We will be your in between. We will help distribute all these different files, designs, tutorials, how-tos. I myself make most of these videos on how-to. I can create these videos to teach others how to do it. There are different versions you may also see out there. There's no wrong or right way. So if you see a file, and it's being shared, you think you can find a better way to do it, or maybe work with a different type of material, go to it, make it different, make it work best for you. And so modify it as needed if you think it can actually feel better. The one thing that is consistent right now is the need to change and alter how we do things, not only to protect the lives of others, but also to ensure some level of security during these time of economic unease. I also have a lot of resources here for you. Here are some contacts and resources to get involved. If you want to find out where I can go to get this stuff, where do I distribute it? How do I donate my time? You can scan these QR code or type in these links, go to some of these different locations and have the ability to kind of do a little bit of research on maybe what you can do to help, maybe keep your office open, keep your employees working, especially being that fire extinguisher before the fire truck gets here. Again, I love that phrase. It is a great phrase, and it's a really true factory, because we may be small individually, but we're very large globally. And when we get together, you'd be amazed what we can do. Well, I thank you so much. This is the end of our quick little seminar here, webinar. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to switch to myself and Don Mayhew, which is one of our sales reps out of, where are you from, Dan? Atlanta, Georgia. Yes.
Yeah, coming to you from the mobile demonstration lab.
Well, welcome, Don.
Throughout the Southeast.
All right. Well, Don has a mobile lab. Actually, he actually has a little van. He can go around and do demonstrations for you. And of course, with this uncertain times, his van is parked right there. And so he's got a mobile camera studio in it, and we can help answer any questions that you have. So Corey, our lady behind the scenes here, is going to do us a favor, and she's going to post some of these questions, and myself and Don Mayhew will answer them best we can. So if you want to move forward. Okay, Dave, what's the thickness? What's the thickness that's good to use for the ear savers? I've used both thicknesses. I've actually used up to a 1/2 inch material. 1/2 inch material worked really well, but at 1/4 inch seemed to be the best. It's fast, it's easy. The smaller, I'm sorry, ear savers. I should be answering this question right. The ear savers are the thinner material. I like the Romark plastics, the Trotec plastics, materials that are thin enough and flexible. I've also used PET. I've used polystyrene. What's the other one that I ABS plastic as well. They smell a little bit more, but any thin plastic that is flexible. 16th inch acrylic also worked. So really, it doesn't matter as long as it's rigid enough to kind of hold in place. That's the kind of material I would use. Next question here. What thickness or type of acrylic is best for the face shields? I use 1/4" extruded acrylic and the pieces snapped off easily. Extruded acrylic can be a little tricky because it is a little more brittle and it depends on your design. So if you do not want to use that thickness, then you may stick with maybe an ABS. I found the acrylic work, the cast acrylic worked just fine if the design is not too brittle. My first design, I had to modify it so that some of the structures were not brittle when it was flexed. And so again, if the material seems not to work, that doesn't mean necessarily the material won't work. That means that maybe you need to adjust the file to work with the material. And we can definitely help you if you don't know how to do that. Can we use PVC material with the laser cutting product? It's commonly known in the laser industry that is the one no-no material. Yes, the laser will cut it. However, it is very damaging to the laser system. It produces chlorine gas when laser cut, and that gas will actually destroy your laser system physically. So yes, it will cut, but it is one of those materials that we do not recommend due to the damage that it causes. And really the only plastic we don't recommend for the hole. What do we got? Next question. Is the laser plastic in the ear guard a single ply? Can you provide a product number? Yes, definitely email us. The link that I had on the video or after the video will actually take you to the exact material. It doesn't matter if it's 1 ply, if it's 2 ply. If you want to engrave maybe a website or something on it, maybe you want to use the 2 ply material. But it really doesn't matter if it is a single plier. It's basically a flexible plastic is all it needs to be. Does the material have a bad smell after being lasered? Cutting ear savers stunk really bad. Yeah, that is true. Unfortunately, most of the plastics that are cut with the lasers, when vaporized with that laser energy, produce a smell. The one thing you need to understand is that smell is going to dissipate. It will be reduced to 0 within a couple days. I use a chemical called hexanes. You can pick it up at McMaster Car. It dramatically reduces not only the smell, but it reduces the sticky edge. But note that if you deliver it immediately, yes, they will continue to smell, but after 24 to 48 hours, the smell will dissipate. It's the outgassing process caused by the lasering. So don't worry if it smells. Make sure you ventilate it, of course, properly when you're laser cutting it, but the smell will go away for the final product to be delivered to the customer. Can you cut a 1/4" acrylic on a 40 watt? You want to answer this one, Don?
Well, it can be done. It's a little bit slower. You have to sometimes focus into the material to get it to cut, slow it down. And depending on the manufacturer of the laser, the settings would be different with each one. But yes, you should be able to cut 1/4" material with a 40 watt.
Waiting for the next question. How do I find who needs these items and connect to them? That is something we are working on. A lot of those links that you saw at the end of the seminar are going to help kind of guide you where to go. Stick with forums, look online. There's a lot of forums of telling you where to go. Contact your local medical professionals and hospitals directly. A lot of the times you can go directly to them and distribute that. If it's something like the door pullers and stuff like that, just post it on your website, sell it on Amazon or any other retailer that you're doing. It really depends on what you're doing.
On Facebook, there's a number of groups available throughout the country and the world that basically call themselves a mask makers group, and they're identified by the area of the country or wherever they are that you can contact and make masks for them and find out where the need is and fulfill the need even through Facebook or social media.
Great. We're cutting some 3M home air filters for our masks. Do you know if filter material can be cut with a laser? I should probably ask 3M directly for the material safety data sheet. Yes, absolutely, MSDS sheet, but from what my experience is, those materials are typically a nylon type materials, which are laser friendly. I know of none of them that actually have any chemical or PVC or something into it. I have cut a lot of the mask materials myself with no problems, and there's no chemical in it. So in my experience, you shouldn't have a problem. You come across this before, Don?
The mask materials, a lot of people, the filter materials, people are just going to Home Depot or Lowe's and picking up either a full filter or even the sheet that goes into the registers, the vent filters, and cutting them to put inside the cloth masks that are being made.
Great advice. Can polycarbonate be cut with the laser? That is a tricky one. Yes, it can, but the carbon in the plastic can actually cause a yellowing, blackening effect on the edges. It can cut. It is tricky. I do recommend masking both sides, and your edge quality is going to be a kind of a sooty, dark brown. It's not harmful to the laser, but the finished result isn't going to be that nice, clear, polished, flame-polished edge like you see on acrylic.
It takes longer for the smell to evaporate as well. It may
Yeah.
take 3 or 4 days for it to go away.
And it smells, yes.
Yeah.
But there are requirements or liabilities associated with making these masks. There are, and I do suggest you contact the hospital. There are certain requirements that are required. For example, the top of the head around the top need to be enclosed so that it can't fall down between. Some of them, the masks I've seen out there don't include that. It's open there. So you got to be careful on that. Contact your doctors. Right now, they're willing to wear salad containers on their face and plastic bags. So they're not really choosy at this point, and there's really not a lot of liability involved at this moment due to the need. But double check with your local healthcare if you're going to deliver that to them. Make sure they bless it first, and then I think you're fine.
The needs are evolving and the designs are continuing to evolve as well. And so over time, there'll be a standardization of the mask and the shields that everyone will be able to access and make sure that they comply with. But right now, the need is so desperate. Like David said, people are using whatever they can get their hands on.
We also have some safety goggle designs that can be produced from the laser. That's great. That's a great example. I mean, these are the type of files and designs that if you could share them, the more people out there doing them, the better. So, and that's not one I've even looked at. So if you can share that with us, we'd be happy to distribute it, or if you can post it somewhere. This is exactly what we need right now. Is there business opportunities that are out there, or the most volunteers? I would say it's a little of both. If you want to volunteer and work maybe through donations, Don, you've had a lot of customers that are doing this. Maybe you're better to answer this question.
In the long run, there's a great business opportunity here. It kind of reminds me of the stainless steel cup industry that has gained so much momentum and been out in the marketplace for the last 10 years. This product is going to be needed for from now on, and going to be utilized in all the healthcare industries from now on. Even the face masks will be used out in public and worn on airplanes and different places. So as a commercial aspect, this product, as we go forward, will be a viable business for someone to augment their business with, or to basically specialize in.
I agree. How about the sterilizing of different plastics? That is a good question. It depends on the type of plastic, whether it's going to be disposable, whether it's UV stable. I mean, you saw in that last video where the customer actually made sure the material is UV stable and it can handle, say, being hit with the UV type of lights to sanitize it. So there are limitations on the type of material. For example, if you cut your mask or face shield out of acrylic and then you use alcohol to clean it, to sanitize it, alcohol doesn't react really well to acrylic and it can cause it to fracture and crack. So bleach solutions, UV lights are probably a better solution for some of these, but you do want to make certain that the materials that you're using can handle some of these cleanings, because as a lot of the people say, it used to be, they used them every time they talked to a customer. Then it was a week, and and then now they're sharing it for an entire week through an entire department. So they are trying to sanitize it, and they do need to make sure that the material can handle that.
The large markets are going to be the ones that continue to try to recycle and sanitize. The small market areas are going to be the ones that are one-off uses. They'll be buying the mask on a regular basis, using them and disposing of them. So the market's going to have two phases to it: for large market, small to medium markets, for disposable masks. So the quantities will be even much bigger in the small markets than they are in large markets.
Materials are sometimes scarce in the applications. Can you offer any advice on how to get them in a pinch? That is a great question, and we have run across that already on some of the thin films. We're seeing elastic straps are pretty much non-existent right now. It's coming down as we need to be creative. You know, just like wartime, you have to find alternatives to and find solutions to some of these problems. Different types of materials that may still work. Maybe it's thin acrylic instead of the PET plastic. We're switching to the straps that you tie on the back instead of using the elastic. So that's what it's going to come down there. There are shortages of some of these materials. It's not going to get any better anytime soon. It's probably going to get worse. And so the key is just be inventive, be creative, find something that works, maybe even laser cut different components that maybe solve that problem. You come across anything like that, Don?
Well, we have, and we've seen the shortage of materials, and the best solution that we've seen to elastic is, like you said, tying off. And we've seen the best solution for the PET is for the acrylic, and the thin film acrylics are available that you can purchase. So there are alternative materials available. It's just making sure that you know where they are and are able to get them.
And that's something we are constantly looking into. We're searching for suppliers and stuff like that as well. And some of those resources that I have given you, all the supplier resources that I have given you in this seminar, all have current materials in stock. I'm not going to provide a source or a link to you during this webinar that you can't get those materials or they're sold out. Everything has been confirmed and everything is in stock for at least the materials that I discussed. This has been very super helpful and getting the ideas flowing. Thank you. You're very welcome, Josh. Shout out to Don.
Nice to hear from you. Thank you for watching.
In our area, a lot of people are using cotton T-shirts to cut into the round that makes a tube-like. Oh, that's a great idea. The T-shirts are already, stretchy in material. Yeah, reusing. It's like wartime. People collecting cans to get metal. You got to do what you got to do. And so examples like that really inspire me to think outside the box, and it should help others think that way as well. Oh, there we go. That's our head of our material guy right there, Alan Crisley. Yeah, Trotec USA will have PTE in stock next week. So yeah, there you go, right there. That's our guy that actually runs our material division for Trotec. Thank you, Alan. All right. I'm getting a signal here from Corey that I think we pretty much have all the questions answered. We'll give it another few seconds here if anybody has any questions. We also, if you have any questions, we'll have plenty of links. You can contact any one of us at our regional offices or, through our website, and we will be, the questions will come to the right person, even if you don't have it now or can't think of something at the moment. We good, Corey? All right, we're good. Thank you for coming to the webinar. See you next time. Thank you so much from me, David Stevens in Phoenix, Arizona, and Don.
You're welcome. Good job, Dave.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you.